I have a story and the speech to preach about. It's about the risk. The risk is a story. It's about the risk in return to understand from executions of how you're supposed to execute your money before you put some of your cash into a basket while you're shopping, just like you're shopping at a grocery store. But everything in life is a risk from a step you take. But all finances is a risk of money, like money is a gamble. It's no matter how low, moderate, and how high there's a chance. Anything is attainable of what the expression outcome that's advanced. The intention to take risk is to make a goal of what your gains, of what your expectation is of your returns. We are comprehended that we are 50% in the middle of a balance in general of what is guaranteed, but it's never going to be 100% of anything that's sure. Like, it's always nothing that's going to be 100% of what's predicted. Be in your psychic to value your portion. Know your limits. Limit means you control your risk from your loss to your gains. And diversify the percentage of what your loss could be to your gains. Always have less loss, more gains. It's essential to understand the levels of assets you build your profile in in a diversification planner to moderate mixture or to aggressive you risk, meaning it's like a risk class that I just explained about. But I would take like moderate to high risk, but I would diversify that as a class to it, not a single asset. It's continually and intelligent to invest in mixture assets like stock market indexes, like the indices to the assets. That means like indices weigh like single stocks of components such as Apple, Google, Amazon, one of the largest companies that's out there, and they have been historic, and also Microsoft. And know your design that converts into abundant growth. And I'm a researcher, and I would research the profiles of the figures of a person that would like to deliver the post. And I would go through some of the advices of what they say and what they comment on, and what they post and what they have on DVD, and also a channel. And there's always some pros and cons of a recommendation to believe the trust of the talk that could be issued. Like, there's pros and cons of what the speech is. I can't believe what the talk is, and I can't believe what the conversations are. Upright supports are so outfitted of what is explained, and there's no way that could be precise. I am the one that I would say and tell you what I recommend. And it's just like a suggestion. It's like a suggestion button that I'll tell you click on, and I'll promote you to visit that site. I will promote you to go as a selection, just to make this selection popular to it. And that means like there's an asset to choose a target of where your goal is and what you want to reach of your milestone. And I love like solid volatility in short term investments, but long term investments it's like slow volatility. Volatility that's so quiet. But not volatility that keeps on moving and moving. Because it's dependent to some of the people. And what my option is suburban in the mind to depend upon. But I like to understand and be knowledgeable of what the forecast is. And forecast is like a prediction of science of what is for the economics. Like these expert economics, like the expert economies. I could express the 2017 economics of what the bonds are like. I'm not too understandable about bonds, but I know what stocks are to me. It's like a value of gains. It's just like liquidations that you gotta liquidate your trades. But evolve a researcher to the ability of what the alterations are like alternating. And belonging to objects can be more difficult only as a beginner, as some people is, especially that they never experienced and what they never heard of. But as a beginner, you learn chapters a month to get into a moderate level, and complexity builds by prospering a skill that you have. It means that when something is hard, it can be reduced. It can be reduced by practicing, and it's all about how you develop it and what you need to change in it. Just like weakness to strength, everyone has a singular mindset and tolerance of what could be controlled, and what is what somebody's born to do. I would diversify into some investment platforms and some of the programs, but I want to figure out what kind of tools that I would invent. But I gotta explain to other people how it is. But I would mix in a diversification just to allocate what the risks are and the assets of the conversions. Like it's to the series to trading and training classes is. It's just like I want to invent of a webinar, and math is my primarily strong mainly subject, because with math it's a combination of numbers, symbols, and prime methods to class on. And I would probably be good at statistics, but I would have to take a placement test to get into that class and enroll. It's like a 5 unit class, and you can get your degree in it easily of what the two primary important classes are, like the English and the math, basically, normally. And that's something that you have to keep worried about. And statistics would be my extension to comprehend the ratios of any type of a classification of what is the world like, what for a model. And I like percentages. I'm mainly of percentages of statistics, and the percentages of the business, and percentage of the business is growing and growing. But also, it goes bankrupt too. It's always up and down with businesses. Businesses are being invented, and sometimes the locations go out of business. But it's hard to predict that a company might go out of business. Percentages fluctuate every day, such as gas, travelers, and hiring jobs. Like, I'm a subscriber to an economic calendar. It's for like investment tools. It's just to alert you on what's going to happen throughout the day. And it's also allowing notifications to pop up. So I like to allow notifications to pop up every time I'm on Google Chrome. Know how to trade. And I know about facts of countries like geography. Like, what I'm saying is, United States has the highest, most popular, largest flexibility country with the goals, especially with the population of international rankings. And it also has historically popular of unique travelers in the United States. And the United States is one of the largest stabilizing economies, especially globally around the world. That's emerging other companies to be developed as we are in stabilizations. Anybody is almost available to invest, but some countries and certain nations have restrictions, especially on it, because it's kind of like a religion issue to it. But every investment there's limits depending on what the government fields are, and they want to know if you are a FINRA employee, or if they want to know if you're working for like public employment, not company employment. Because it could be a welfare to an agency. But there's always pros and cons. Good and bad reputations depend on a broker, exchange, or company that would have permission for that amendment. Because companies can create their own terms and conditions, just like employment amendments. But it's always a perfect, wonderful idea for trading platforms, investment platforms to offer a stimulus demo version. Because demo versions are very flawless to beginners to structure their experience, to build up and gain their availability. It don't let the risk command your emotions. Like, don't let nothing try to get your emotions, because your emotions will take your energy down. and acquire information from your mistakes, from falling of inexperience. Just like you learn from failure and go to success. And experience can also be a bypass of how your learning equality is. The trade stress can also be controlled upon the assets you execute in, and know your assets. Do your homework on what your investments are. Do your homework on your assets. Learn the methical instruments to get in that. And the common short-term plans are options like so many options as a day trader. What day traders do, what day traders believe, and what they misbelieve, and what they misunderstand. And day traders are its most believable that it's possible to gain wealth of a short-term option. But it's like a lower percentage. But I have to research it, so I would have opinion on what it be publicly, as it could be published to promotions. But it's day trade has so many varieties of options that you could choose from, especially with the ticket you get in at. What's the size number? What's the offer to a bid? And there are some options that you could close out at, and what your position is, and what you execute in. And you could control your risks by putting your money in the working order, and when you're buying, you're getting at a lower price, so your profits could be higher. And when you're selling, prices have to be higher where you're getting that to fall to the floors. And you want to shorten your gain or your loss as possible as it can be. And right now at this time, the market's at all-time highs, especially. Let me count how many months that is, because I want to say it's about 9 months ago. About 8 months ago, 8 to 9 months ago, markets was climbing at all-time highs, especially when Trump just got in office. The market got in of a roller coaster, but it was some milestones like, the Dow Jones just hit 2100 and 21,000, and Dow Jones just hit like 21,000 in 10 minutes. You know what I'm gonna say? Like the Dow Jones, Dow Jones is at above 21,100 above the level, and the S&P 500 is at 2,400, and the FTSE is at the 7,500, and the DAX Germany is at 12,600. And don't anticipate that the money could build your happiness, and always be in love with your wealth. Don't be in love with the money or the evils. I desire that I could invest like Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, and I like investors like Richard Branson, who owns Virgins, just like Virgin Islands. Like a Virgin Land. And I want to say about United Kingdom has one of the largest financial centers, and they call it the pounds. They just left with the Brexit about last year's, and it's going to be an anniversary again. But time is upon the patience for what the process could be like. And with black African Americans need to gain the poverty of billionaires on the rise. But it would be like future for 2030, but we can't be too sure of the current. And I would just worry about the future, forget about the past. And my quote, it means you admire what the future is, but we regret the past. Just like you had terrible times, and right now you get into better plans, just like your negative person getting to a positive person. I learned how to day trade about 3 years ago myself. No one told me how to do it. But like 2 years ago, I was the starting off at $100, making my way up to $2,200 within a month. by trading on the indexes, trade as something that I'm satisfied with and that I'm favored in. And also metal commodities like the gold and silver and some kind of copper. And the day trade option I only use is I'm more of a daily option because that's kind of like a moderate kind of risk, but it's at moderate highs of the risk because you lose a little slowly, but you're more likely to gain throughout the day, especially when the market closes. And that's a perfect time where you can get in at because you grow your earnings like daily. It depends on what the performance is, but I can't talk over the secrets because I'm at chance of losing my bargains. But I've heard about Bitcoins, and Bitcoins is about a cyber currency that was invented by a Japanese man. It was about it was about 8 years ago of 2009. But there's also pros and cons about the Bitcoin's currency because it has like a reputation with the black market, and it's been like bogus goods, like drugs been sold online, all kinds of things been sold online. But the positive things like the pros of the Bitcoin's dollars, it has gained 24,000% in like 41% from 2011 to now. That on. I can count on what the change is. But I'm more of a stock market keeper. But I want to get into an expert of it sooner and sooner as I get an interview of it, and as an entrepreneur as well. But I'm not too understandable with bonds and treasuries. Generally, every investment is this risk and a gamble. Nothing could be some kind of guaranteed. The more you take something, the more you earn something. The the less risk you take, you earn little. Huh? Like when you invest in something that gain you something big, that means you worked strong on it. And you gotta invest as a team just like you're working as a team. Like anything can happen unexpectedly without a prediction. It's just like life is a gamble because your health could be at risk, or you never know what's gonna go on. It's without age doesn't even matter if anything. Like I got 4 examples to say about what's a gamble. Gamble. It's like skydiving is a gamble, motorcycling is a gamble, skiing down here I would say 25% of the risk, and a boat, like if you're going on a cruise, could be a risk because it could sink at any time, at some kind of time, and that's something I don't want to think about. Money, man, people gonna always question when you make lots of money. Like it could be a financial problem. They just want to investigate you. Like if the money's not budgeted, that could be a problem with it. Big dreadful things could happen. In U.S. dollars, in all these major currencies have some kind of inflation, and U.S. dollars like last month hit its lowest level because it was just something going on with the president. Nothing, not no big deal or issue of it. But don't spend all your money all in one day. We could train people how to spend and budget their assets, budget their amount, and you want to create the goals with it, and you have it diversified as well. Debt is a big problem, and you want to avoid it because whatever money you owe, you're broke. Especially it gets taken out of your paycheck, and it can be avoided by limiting your spending, and also protect your scores. And I always want to keep good credit scores so I don't lose my privileges or my eligibility to get into homes. But I want to keep my qualification in the scores to invest in property, and you gotta learn like less mistakes like don't flip to sell property. You always gotta stay at a buy. It's not even necessary to sell. Like you're not supposed to panic to sell because you start losing big. You always hold on to something. And always use a calculator that will help you invest and always manage your daily spending. Or you can type them in Excel form. I could do it. I have goals. I've gotten trained on as well as too. But I can help people out there too. For people who struggle every day.